Hello, everyone. Alright, hopefully, you can see me and you can hear me. Let's see. Can you hear me? Yeah, cool. Alright, so last time I did. I just turn this on because I don't want to miss your comments. I might turn it off, but we'll see how it goes. So last time, hello, how's it going, Vicky? Last time I did this right here. Let's see, now I think I can turn this off. And yeah, okay. And I think I could modify this a little bit. Can I? Give me a second. Some gamma correction. Some contrast. Too much brightness. Saturation. It's fine. Maybe the sharpness is like too much. That's okay. That's okay. Thank you. Um, well, I hope that I meet your expectations. But like I just draw. I don't know if like I don't remember if you seen my stream before. I think you might, but I could be mistaken. But I just draw something, and that's the gist of it. So last time it was African hawk eagle, the animal that I drew. Well, I did it in two separate sessions, but yeah, you can go and look it up. I also did the reel for it, the short video. This time around, I'm doing I think it's from the Congo, the African gray parrot. I think that's the name in English. This picture specifically was by Catherine Hegan. You can find it on Unsplash if you want. And this other reference I got is from Andrew Darlington, also on Unsplash. You can find it. I'm from Venezuela originally, as you can see. I made my illustrated deck of cards about my country. Eh, but yeah, I'm originally from Venezuela. Okay, so let's get to the thing. Uh, Clear that. From Chile. Oh, good. Glad you could join me. All right. Let's see. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. So first off, what I try to do is kind of frame the drawing or place it on the page. And because I'm currently using a pen and I tend to use a pen uh, lately for these sessions, I try to make really small markings on the page so I don't overdo it, and after I don't have to clean as much. I just try to frame the overall shape and then focus, like go from there, focus on more specific parts of the drawing. You, hopefully it makes sense as I go along. But that's for those of you that are new. For those of you that have seen my stream, this is what I do. Was it able to? I also film this, so I do the short videos that you can see on my channel. And alright, just go back there. I already have that shot, so I just need the light now. I tried to set up a light. I do have a light, but I need an extension to be able to reconnect it, so I tried to use my phone. Anyhow, this would be like the top of the bird, and let's see if I got that right. So if that's that, the tail would be like around here. Let's say here. So if I'm mistaken, then I would have to adjust this a little bit, but it wouldn't be like a huge marking. I also recommend, if you want to try this for yourself, I mention it multiple times, to try and focus on the overall shape and then go into the details. So if I assume that this part of the wing gets to around here, then the rest would be the tail of the bird. So I just set up all the, like, this side of the bird there, and if I keep going, should be able to do like the face. Here a second. By the way, if I stop talking, it's because I'm trying to to not mess up. So yeah. Uh, so the lower part of the beak. I always mess that word up in English. Beak. It's not peak. It's beak. I don't know. I might be getting it wrong right now, but you get the point. So I'm getting into the details. I'm not listening to my own advice. But yeah, like once I already have that, I should move it along, because if I start getting too much into the details there, then if I mess up other aspects, uh, I would have to readjust. I know, I don't know if the proportions here are correct. The way I like to draw is not to measure every single thing. I try to do it. It's not really empirical. Like, I'm trying to measure it just by looking at the reference. But there's ways at which you can transfer the measurement. I think I've talked about this before. Like, you could do, like, if I want to measure the head, I can hold my pen against the image, and then I measure like the top of the head up to the neck, and like once I have that, I I try to transfer it to the drawing. So I try to set up my pen against the top of the head of the animal, or in this case the subject matter, and then I try to adjust it to see if it fits with what I thought. Yeah, and it works. Like, you have to kind of keep um an idea of the proportions. There are other ways at which you can do it. There's some people that, to make it easier on themselves, they, let's see if I can go show you. I don't know how many of you watching have drawn before or are traditionally trained, but basically you take the image, like your reference, and you divide it into quadrants, squares, and some people even number each one. So let's say this is the bird. That's the bird, right? Well, this is just for reference. So you kind of do that same grid on your page on where you're going to transfer it, and what you do is you just follow what each of those things have. Like, if the reference here is just this little part, then you draw that, then you draw this here, and that. I don't particularly like to do it this way, but there's like, it's like a method that people use. So if it's something that you might find useful, you might consider it. So I don't know, just for your information. There are other ways at which you can do that, but uh, that's one of them. The other one I just mentioned, like measuring against the image, and there's some people that even like do like caliper. They take a caliper and start measuring, and then they transfer. Like, they try to do, they blow up the image, the reference image, to be like a one to one to what they're drawing, and they transfer the measurements, which is another method. For me, I like drawing this way, so that's what I do. Sometimes it can be a little bit more inaccurate, but I like the result a lot of the times. The moments I figured and I've noticed that I don't like the result is usually because I'm like really tired, or I've been doing a lot of different drawings constantly and trying to pump them out all the time to a point that like I just output something that I don't really like because I'm not that invested in what I'm drawing at that moment. Like my mind is in a completely different place, and yeah, it's something that I've noticed and been trying to figure out a way to be more consistent on the way I approach this sort of thing. I didn't notice that the other paw is like hidden right there. You can see a knuckle, another knuckle. This is like in. Also, another thing, another fun fact. Doesn't matter the creature. Usually, you can transfer. If you learn human anatomy while drawing, you can translate that and transfer that into other creatures as well. So, for instance, usually the hand, it's like whenever you're drawing, so my hand should be like, come on, here. I'm trying to. So if you see the frame with my face, the hand is almost the same measurement from here to here than my face, right? So that's a proportion thing that you can think about. And there's like most things in nature go by the same rules in general. So if I measure the head, it should fit sort of. Yeah, it kind of fits. If I measure the face of the parrot in this case, it kind of fits with the paw. So another way to measure your subject. Also, if you haven't and you're interested, I recently, because I've been asked a few times if I have a Discord. Now I have a Discord. You can check it out on the description of this live stream on YouTube. I might add it to other places. I don't know. I'm still figuring out how I'm going to go about it, but for now, you can ask me questions, and I also, I guess I could update you all when I'm going live, or if you have suggestions as to what I could draw, that sort of thing, or maybe you want feedback. That I'm thinking of what I should do about, but for now, if you're interested, I just set that up. So if you wanna check it out, it's there. Also consider subscribing, hitting that like, hitting that bell, and all that stuff. Helps me a bunch. It's completely free for you, and yeah, aids me in continuing to do this sort of thing and pursuing what I would like is get monetized, hopefully at some point. But who knows? We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'll definitely continue to create art. That's definitely going to be part of my life until I leave this plane, so that part for sure. The other part, social media stuff, who knows? Who knows? So I decided to draw this bird because they're freaking awesome. They're super smart. Uh, I don't know if some of you know about this bird, but they can learn like 1,000 words or something, and they can solve problems. Apparently, for what I searched recently, because I knew about how smart they are, but according to the internet, they are around like a 4 to 6 year old or something. Like they can get to that level of intelligence. At least that's what they've been able to measure. But it's a different type of intelligence because they're animals, so they're gonna be different. It's super interesting to me, at least. Let's see here. Uh, so here's where I make or break this thing. Still don't know about this. No. Let me see something. Okay. So the eye should be like in right around the middle of the head, according to the measurement. But in regards to, so we would get to like there. Let's see. Hmm, I might have messed up. Oh, we'll see. Undecided yet. Okay. I think I might have measured this wrong. Yeah, quite probably. So it could be like right there. Just something like that. And you have this sort of cut here. Well, I don't know if I like it so far. We'll see. Because I feel like the eye should be smaller. Like I got something wrong there. And that is why you should measure. I don't do it as much, but you should. Like it's I had a teacher that when we were at school still studying illustration, they would usually say that you need to know all the rules so you can eventually break them. And ideally, yeah, it is. It stands true, I think. Let's see if I can film another shot. Mm-hmm. Is it gonna show something? Come on. Okay, video. Pretty sure the freaking camera is so dirty. I don't know. So if you cannot see anything right now, but alright, cool. Oh my goodness. Can you still see what I'm doing? Sort of, kinda, sorta. Filter color correction. Come on. Come on. Well, to the credit of what I'm doing, the lines I'm creating are super light, really. So, anyhow, really appreciate how on the image, on the picture, the bird is probably like they do this thing when they like puff up or something, so you can move the feathers around. So I like the effect that is created. And it also shows all the interesting shapes that feathers take depending on where they are located. Kind of interesting. Yeah, I think I'm getting to why I don't think this is correct. So, the eye should be there, but it should be smaller. Yeah, I don't think this is one of my strongest. Definitely. I'm still gonna try. Looks a little bit crazy eye now. Oh, the bird looks crazy eye without me helping it, so. Oh. Oh, I see what's going on. The surrounding area, that's better. Not super better, but often another thing that happens is that you measure. Oh, I think that the measurement is right. And it probably is. But because you haven't added any shading, it might look incorrect. Like, why is this not. Like, sometimes you start a painting and it looks awful. And after a while, it starts to get better because you just really have to put in the work in order for it to show itself on the canvas on or whatever or a piece of substract you're using. Maybe that's the wrong term in English, but page, oil, I don't know, paper. Like I have my dog right here next to me. We recently I recently cleaned our we have a carpet. I recently cleaned it. We had it storage, and now my dog doesn't know where to go to sleep. Like he goes to the bed, sleeps there for a while, then gets up, gets on the carpet. It's like it's kind of funny. I think he regulates his temperature that way. Like when he feels that he's he needs it, he goes like lays on the cold floor, and when he's tired of that, he goes back to his bed and goes back and forth. It's still really funny. Like most people, I'm pretty sure, wish they could have the life of a house pet. Are you all typing? Huh. Hello. Hello, Stephanie. For whatever reason, I couldn't hear you. That is weird. Hmm. Give me a second. Give me a second. What is going on? Hmm. That is weird. It didn't. For whatever reason. What do you mean? Oh, okay. For whatever reason, this thing is not. It's not giving me the the sound whenever somebody types. I did change it, but it should still do it. So I have to be paying attention. Anyway. Oh, it's a African gray parrot. I think that's the name in English. Could be wrong, but in Spanish is loro gris africano. So yeah. So it's a really smart bird from the Congo. It's a it's a fairly popular pet. Maybe it shouldn't be because it's an exotic bird, but people enjoy having them as pets because they're super smart. And it could be banned. I don't know. What I know is for what I've seen, there's probably a lot of them that are in captivity. And I don't think I'm doing the best job at representing the picture, but I'm going for it. I'm not one to shy away from a challenge. This is one of those things I mentioned about focusing on the overall shape, and I think I missed the mark. Probably, as I was mentioning, definitely when you draw something originally, it can look off, and then when you start shading it, it turns out better than you expected. It's also a different proportion, meaning like the image I have in front of me as a reference is actually larger than what I have. But that shouldn't be an issue because you can change your perspective. Having said that, you do have to adjust your eyesight depending on the reference. That's why a lot of people do like one-to-one reference. But there's also like I would just I remember doing a bunch of assignments, just printing a regular page and have that as my reference, or sometimes multiple, but it wasn't like real size. Especially later on my career, I was always more like hands-on type. I didn't want to like do all the technical things. Like I want, I usually want to get to a point about a technique or that sort of thing, a project. But but in reality, if you want to be really meticulous about the drawing or your artwork, you should consider those things that I'm mentioning. I mentioned it. This one is Catherine Hegan. I forgot to add the link there. What I'm thinking of doing is actually going back and adding all the photographers' links to my live streams, so whoever wants to see the reference, they can get it directly. Even though you can see it, like whenever I do a live stream, I you can see it right here. I actually think that these birds, and there are multiple others, should have like rights, like humanoid rights or something. Like, yeah. We do all these awful things for profit, and we forget that the world is not just us, really. Anyhow, daylight saving time. Yeah, yeah. There isn't. As far as I know, there isn't. It's actually a good question because I know. Oh, give me a second. I think here they have like a change in. The thing is, here is like a small change. Like in other places, it's like a small change. In the US, it's like an hour, right? And yeah, like my wife has to clock in at a different time depending on the. Uh, yeah, and I thought like they've mentioned multiple times about removing. Sorry, removing the daytime saving thing. They don't do it ever. And there's some people that they are against it. Other people are for it. To me, it's like just leave it as it is. Like you don't. It's a little bit absurd. There's a whole history about it. I don't remember it right now, but there was a bunch of different reasons as to why they make more money using it. But you mean like because of the time that people start working, or is it like is there like a another way at which they profit? To me, it's like it's really absurd. They I see it more as a inconvenience than an actual helpful thing. Energy usage. Oh, you mean so like people waking up and having to go to work and doing all the stuff ends up turning into energy usage? That that could be. But does it do that much of a difference? I don't like it's. I don't know. That whole thing is mind-boggling to me. It really is. Like it doesn't make sense to me. I know it's. Here's the thing. I heard something about like you have to wake up and it's dark, but it would be just the same time. Like if you have to wake up at 7 a.m., it's gonna continue to be the 7 a.m. It's just that it might be dark outside. Nobody wants to wake up at 7 a.m., regardless whether there's sunlight outside or not. Nobody. I don't know about nobody that wants to do that. So, I, it doesn't make sense to me. It seems like it was something that I could be wrong. No, it's darker for longer in the winter when people are home. So, I'm trying to make sense of it. I'm sorry if it's that I'm It's super late. Okay, so it just the sun comes up later in the day, right? So I understand, but you would be like, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you're still doing the same thing. It's just a different, with a different time frame. Does it make sense what I'm trying to get to? It like, do you know how that's like the whole daylight saving time thing sounds to me like somebody went up at some point. It could, like, I could be wrong, like the history behind it, but somebody came up to a politician and like, sir, or like a group of people, sir, we're really tired of waking up during like the sun hasn't come up and we have to wake up at that time and go to work at that time. And the idea they came up with, no worry. And it's like it would be like a selling point for a politician to get into office type of thing. Do not worry, we will get daylight saving time from now on. Eh, there's there's no argument to that. Definitely, that's true. Uh, Here's a fun thing for you if you don't know. In England, for a long while, the government or the crown was looking. It was like in medieval times, or maybe a little bit. Yeah, it was medieval. Don't know the exact date, but it was in modern times. So the crown was looking for ways at which they could charge people more taxes. So they came up with a brilliant solution as to they were gonna charge, like, let's say you have a big house. You have 30 windows in total on the house. It's like, oh, now we're charging a tax for the amount of windows that people have. So you have too many windows. So we're gonna charge you for that. So there's a bunch of houses in England with like cover up windows because like they didn't want, like, I'm not gonna pay us your stupid window tax, so they would just break up the windows. And time went on, and all of a sudden people move onto one of those houses and they're like, why is this window that's probably the reason. Like, there was a window tax, and now it would be absurd. Like, really, you want to tax me on the amount of windows I have? Come on. What are you talking about? What nonsense is this? But yeah, you have a point on what you're saying. I still don't like. I still don't see the point of the daylight saving thing. I've been trying to figure it out because, as I said, like my wife has to deal with it, and like all the people in her office are like, well, we have to deal with this. It's like inconvenient for most people, but yeah, I don't know. if you give me like if somebody gives me like a really good reason, I wouldn't argue against it. Like it doesn't to me every time I think about it, I'm like I'm it's mind-boggling to me. So if you tell me that they're gonna charge like I don't know, daylight saving time tax, that would be like, oh, I see where. Yeah, no worries. I honestly, I genuinely been trying to figure it out myself for years. It's not like I've dealt with this before, and I don't understand. I really don't. And mind you, I used to work with people that were all the way across the world, so it was a completely offset of time. Like for example, Singapore is like 12 hours away or something. So an hour to me is like yeah, that's not much. So yeah, well, in that case it wasn't like we were working completely 12 hours uh, off. What people would do was basically stock up different time frames at which people work, and when you're in daytime you just log in and do your thing, and you just send updates accordingly. But sometimes you would have to wait until you get an answer. So in that way, it's a little bit of a challenge. But if you can do that, like an hour, it shouldn't be an issue, really. So I don't know. Yeah, it is looking better with the shading. Daylight saving time. Well, thinking about that, like I'm doing my live stream 9:30 p.m. Argentina time. I guess in your case it would be now it's an hour earlier, so it would be I don't know what time it is in your side of the world. 9:30. Oh, so it's like it. Okay. Oh, makes sense. Well, like it's still like it doesn't do much. I'm really I'm trying to figure it out, and I don't know. Like I've the other thing is I've had to work like odd hours for for quite some time. Often I'm like, yeah, if it doesn't affect me that much, when it would affect you is if like for I don't know. It's just a hassle. Like to me, what it doesn't make sense is that you would ask people to log in, like to clock in a different time type of thing, but that's across the board for everyone that has to deal with that. Like to me, it would make sense if like doesn't matter. We do the time change stuff, but you clock in at the exact same time, regardless. So I don't know. I think I would prefer that. Like I would try to get to an agreement. Like, hey guys, if it doesn't bother you, I'm going to clock in at this time forever, regardless. Doesn't bother you? Okay, fine. Then that's what I'll do. Like, basically, override the whole uh, daylight saving time thing. Like, it doesn't matter. I'll just fix it myself, type of thing. Because it seems like it, if you wait for the government to reverse it, they're probably not gonna do it because it's been like that for years, and I've heard of people asking for that for a long time, and so far there's just nothing. Yeah, it looks a little bit better. I know it's not perfect. This is whole thing of finish not perfect. Let's see if I can. This bothers me so much that I have to adjust so many things. Meaning that the camera doesn't properly adjust. It's a little bit of a hassle, but well, all things considered, there's other things that are more important than that. So don't mind me. Don't mind my nonsense. Um. Oh, yeah, that definitely, like you can solve so many things just by doing that. And like if you make it so that the cell phone is like biometrically uh, like linked to you, like you could even like you could do so many things like that. Like whenever you need to solve a big issue, like do we all want to do this thing? No, 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 no. Yes, 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 yes. And you will get an answer like in seconds. But way easier said than done in regards to, well, there's way more than just the decision being made. the system would have to be fully proof to a bunch of stuff that we all know can happen. So yeah, I don't want to say anything controversial, but it is what it is. The reality of humanity is that we if we make something, we figure out ways at which we can trick it. So that has been the reality of our civilization forever. Like in Roman times, if you look at the coins, what they would do. this is this is amazing. Uh, like a Roman coin, if you go look it up, it usually didn't have all the borders because what they would do is they would cut parts of it out. Yeah, they shaped the freaking thing and then they use that part to make more coins. Like, yeah, now I have more money, which is genius. But I'm pretty sure eventually the Roman Empire was like, you cannot do that. that's that's illegal. You're tricking the system that we set up so you couldn't make more money. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I'm doing what I can so I don't turn cynical. I was listening to a bunch of people saying that once you turn that corner, it's really hard to go back. So I guess it's fine if you dabble on the cynical side of things, but you shouldn't stay within it for long. Otherwise, it can consume you. Like the dark side. Yeah. Having said all this, there's something to it. There's something to be said about how we set up our society. Definitely. Birdie bird. Come on. Alright. trying to figure out if I like it or not. Eh, okay, so I see what was bothering me. Is the shape of the. Okay. So it was this shape right here that surrounds the eye. I felt it was a little bit off. I saw a video the other day of people trying to record. Well, they recorded a bunch of birds flying over microphones, and eventually got to an owl. You can listen to a peep. That is freaky. Like you couldn't record the sound. Like, well, there was no sound basically. Maybe to like really small percentage, but those microphones didn't record nothing. Daylight saving time is described when there are substantial petroleum shortages and elevated prices. What? No, now I'm more confused. What? Okay, I'm going to do a deep dive into this because this is insane. Petroleum shortages, and what does that it has anything to do with moving 1 hour one side and versus another? What the you know what? That's absurd. That I'm really like I'm mind boggled by this. What? What in the Western society is this? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I have a bunch of examples I can refer to, but I don't want to say anything that controversial. Like I don't have a huge following or anything, so yeah, they could be. As I said, it sounds to me the entire thing from the get go. It sounded to me, and it still sounds to me like somebody just wants to have a, an extra hour every now and then for whatever reason, and they just made up this strange rule, similar to what I said about the this tax on Windows that used to exist, and it just stayed that way. That's my guess. My best guess is that. But what you just said about being related to like petroleum shortage, that oh lord. Humanity never ceases to amaze me. But in a George Carlin type of way. Anyhow, now I'm stepping out of the cynical Silent. Let's go back to my drawing. You know what I would like like who I would like to see talk about that? Bill Burr. He probably has a really funny take on that. Yeah, he says some really funny stuff. Like when he goes on a rant, is like just let him cook. It's really funny. Like you, it seems like he genuinely loses his temper a little bit, and then goes back to normal. And it's super funny. Well, I'm getting close to the time frame. Yeah, I would really like to see one of those parrots in real life and ask it questions. Like, what's the meaning of life? I don't know, you idiot. What are you talking about? Ah! Answer me. Crazy, crazy. Parrots are really funny. To me, at least. Even though, like, I don't know if you've seen, it would be like a cockatoo. We have a bird in Venezuela. It's called guacamaya. I have it in one of the illustrations for the deck of cards. A guacamaya. Those things are really they're like really big birds, and they were fairly like some people had them as pets. I don't know if it's legal to have them as pets, but legal and non-legal things there are like sometimes people just don't pay attention to that. Anyway, the point is that they have them in like restaurants and so on and so forth, and sometimes they have them like free, and you would sort of interact with them. Those things are scary as, at least to me, they're scary. Then they just move differently, and they can, when they look at you, they can, and I'm pretty sure all parrots can do that. Like they can focus the eye, or change the dilation of the eye, so they can go like fully expanded or really small, depending on whatever reaction they have. And they also bite if they want to. So I'm like, yeah, I'm cool. Like I've gotten close to them, and giving them food and so on. But there's some places where they let you like get on like over you, like grab onto your arm. But look at, like, I'm pretty sure this one's smaller. But look at the freaking talons on this thing. So yeah, those birds are something else. So I can only imagine like what it would be like a hawk or an eagle, that sort of thing, like an actual. And this one's, they eat regular stuff. They eat, as far as I know, they eat nuts and they're vegetarian. I don't know. Maybe some are not. I was trying to figure out that before I went on the live stream, if there are parrots there, or that line cockatoos and so on that can eat other birds, like the toucan. I don't know the translation. I don't remember the translation, but apparently the toucans can hunt other animals, which I didn't know about that. Like I only knew about the one that you can see on your cereal. I was like, what the heck? Yeah, maybe it's too late. I'm starting to partially hallucinate out of tiredness. Just a joke, by the way. Yeah, yeah, maybe I'll double down. In if I'm hallucinating, no, I'm just, yeah, just making jokes. I don't know if it looks that much like the image, really, but I'm trying to do the best I can here. That's a little bit better. Mm, yeah, I know there's some measurements here that are off. Definitely. Anyhow, so we're past the hour, an hour 33. So I'll be cutting the stream and getting some rest that I need. So I'll be going live tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to finish this or get to a different drawing. A good night. So yeah, if you're interested in this sort of thing, feel free to drop by my live stream. I go live Monday through Thursday, around the same time, 9:30 p.m. Argentina time. It goes for around an hour. Now an hour 34 today, but it usually goes for around an hour, maybe 1:15 or something. But yeah, if you want to ask questions or hang out, feel free to log in to my live stream. You can also see my deck of cards, Cartas a Venezuela, on my website. I have some other stuff there that you can purchase, like backgrounds for your phone that are super cheap there. I also have my Redbubble shop where you can find products with my illustrations on them. And yeah, I guess until next time, consider subscribing, hitting that bell, hitting that like, and all that great stuff. It helps me a bunch. It's completely free for you. And hope to see you next time. I'll be ending the stream, so bye.